Update. Entitled Step Monster Got Herself Banned for My Wedding. Original post. My 28 male, stepmother 49 female is a wannabe party planner. She has taken it upon herself to plan and host every party and holiday my dad's family has thrown since she married him. I never loved those occasions growing up. She's controlling and gets upset if people complain about anything, but I humored her for my dad's sake. According to him, this helps her feel included. I'm getting married to my fiancée Jane, 26 female, in July. We got engaged in early 2021, but Jane ended up getting pregnant a couple months after that, and we decided to postpone the wedding to focus on our son for a while. So we've had a long engagement. My stepmother has tried to hijack our wedding plans from day one, complaining, contacting our planner, showing up unannounced to Jane's dress appointments, etc. And we have repeatedly asked her to stop. Dad wants us to humor her, but she's clearly resentful of the fact that she's not hosting the wedding or being labeled mother of the groom in invitations. Besides our baby boy, we also have Luke, 4 male, Jane's paternal half-brother. She got custody of him a few months into our relationship after his parents died. I ended up moving in with them during the pandemic, and I have been in Luke's life since he was a baby. He doesn't call me dad and refers to us as his sister and his OP, but we love him like a son. Stepmother, though, hates Luke. She accuses Jane of baby-trapping her way into the family, and that accusation only got worse after our son was born. My dad gets along with Jane and adores the kids, but stepmother demands him to refuse babysitting Luke. So we don't leave the kids with them often. Instead, Jane's brother and sister-in-law usually watch the kids for us, as their children are close to ours in age. We had a thing last Sunday, and my brother-in-law was out of town with his family. Jane's other siblings live in different cities, as well as my mom and sister. My dad agreed to babysit at our place, and we left. We came back to find both kids crying, stepmother screaming, and dad weakly trying to calm everyone down. Apparently, Luke had told stepmother that both he and our son were going to be our ring bearers, and she went ballistic. She screamed that she wasn't going to allow that because he wasn't family. She then hit him when he started crying, and his lip is still split. She'd never gotten to this point before. We immediately banned her from our house and from our wedding. Dad is fuming and has said he's not going without her. He's also convinced half of his side of the family by severely downplaying what stepmother did to boycott the wedding as well. This includes my stepbrother, who fully agrees with his mother no matter how many times I try to tell him the truth. Me and Jane are refusing to budge, but many of my cousins who aren't coming anymore are asking us to reconsider. Pretty much all of Jane's family agrees with us, but one of her aunts suggested that maybe stepmother is acting out because she doesn't feel welcomed by my family. I've honestly had it with my family enabling her behavior. I love my dad and really want him at my wedding, but I am more than willing to go no contact if it means protecting my family. Edit: I think I accidentally deleted a paragraph where I mentioned this, but we did press charges. We took Luke to the pediatrician the next day and gathered every piece of evidence we had. Not only did we have pictures of Luke's face, but by some miraculously strike of luck, we also had nanny cam footage. Some commenters were right to assume that my stepmother hadn't been invited to our house, but my dad hasn't really gone anywhere without her in years, so we took precautions. We didn't expect her to actually do anything this awful, but we've never trusted her with the kids. The physical attack happened off camera, but there is some footage of her screaming and Luke crying before and after the event. She now has a child mistreatment charge on her rap sheet. We wouldn't let her get away with this. I'll try to respond to at least some of the comments, but all I'll add for now is that Luke is okay. The visit to the pediatrician happened the day after. He already had a counselor and will continue treatment. We've been hugging and pampering him a little more than usual too. He's still upset, but is already doing much better. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. That is scorched earth level event. You could have pressed charges. Don't look back. Sorry about your dad, but he's literally enabling your kid's attacker. Any flying monkeys come your way, just reply with, since you apparently condone the verbal and physical harming of a 4-year-old child, trust us when we say you will not be missed at our wedding. This is the answer. Nothing short of scorched earth, father included. Defending this behavior is abhorrent. She would have gotten much worse than banned from the wedding if I came home to find my kid literally bleeding because of her striking him. I wouldn't budge on this. She's not acting out because she doesn't feel included. She's a narcissistic a-hole throwing tantrums because she doesn't get what she wants. I wouldn't blame you going totally no contact either. Your cousins asking you to reconsider are totally out of line. All I can think is, can your fiancé fight? Because I most definitely would have chosen violence that day. She's disgusting, and Opie's dad is indeed a coward. Imagine the fear that baby felt being screamed at about not being family, and physically attacked all for being excited on top of him having lost his parents already. I don't think I would have been able to control myself. Wow, just wow. Opie, these people are not safe people or good people. You and your family are better off. Jane can fight very well actually. She's done jujitsu, but got busy tending to Luke. I can also fight, and was more than ready to, but neither of us wanted the kids to see us like that. Pretty much every adult in the house was screaming for a few minutes, and we didn't want to get it any scarier. Jane also threatened to call the cops, which prompted dad and stepmother to leave. Your dad needs to grow a spine. How in the hell can he stand by and watch his wife harm a literal child? It honestly says more about him than her. Cut your losses on anyone siding with this nonsense. She clearly attacked Luke. Are charges being pressed? Because truly deserves punishment for her actions. Something far more eye-opening than being disinvited from your wedding. He stands by his witchy wife because she's the one he's sleeping with. He's afraid he will be cut off. And she will leave him eventually. Cowards die alone. Now for the update. I want to thank everybody who took the time to read and or comment on my previous post. It's been a tough week, but it's always great to know that people care. I haven't been able to reply to every comment, but I will try to address some in this update. This might get a little long. I'll start off by saying that me and Jane are going no contact with my dad and stepmother. We haven't really spoken to either of them since the incident, and I don't plan on being the one to reach out. Any communication between us is being handled by my younger sister. She's completely on our side, but will remain in low contact for the time being. I've decided to adopt Jane's way of dealing with people she cares about. Forgive what's apologized for, but never forget. Basically, if dad or stepmom ever truly understand what they did wrong and sincerely apologize, we're willing to forgive them even if begrudgingly so. But we will never ignore or let them forget what they did to our family. And for the time being, neither of them will be allowed near Luke, our baby, and any other kids we may have in the future, even if we do forgive them. As for the rest of my family, I read a lot of comments suggesting that I post pictures of Luke's face, as well as the nanny cam footage. I'm not very active in social media, but even if I was, I'm not comfortable exposing my injured preschooler like that, especially given that nothing on the internet ever truly goes away. I also decided not to share the pictures with my family unless truly necessary. I should probably mention that while my family adores my dad, most of them aren't very fond of stepmother. She had 2 failed marriages prior to meeting my father, the first of which resulted in my stepbrother, and he cheated on his then-girlfriend to be with her. My family loved that girlfriend and disliked stepmother right away. Not only has she been controlling and manipulative since the beginning, she's also tried to force her way into the family matriarch role by any means possible. Taking over planning duties for every family event was her favorite way to do it, because of all the attention and compliments that come with it. The main reason why I hated these parties growing up was because she'd always find a way to make everything about her, including Christmas and mine and my sister's birthdays. The rest of the family felt neutral about it, but they never liked her. With Luke, it was different. Most of my relatives didn't meet him until COVID restrictions got looser, and by then he was 2 years old. He's a bright and genuinely lovable kid, and there weren't really any other small children in the family, so everyone immediately started cooing over him. The way I see it, stepmother got upset that Jane and Luke were accepted by my family so easily compared to her experience, and that's why she resents them both, but I can't confirm that. She was also mad that, aside from not being the planner, she would have absolutely no involvement in the wedding party. She tried to pressure us into letting her officiate, even if one of Jane's best friends was offered that role a year ago. Making stepbrother my best man though he wasn't interested, it had already gotten my best friend. Or asking her sister's daughter to be our flower girl, when we'd promised Jane's 3-year-old niece. Also, her sister's daughter is 15 and doesn't know us. She also tried to convince us to let my dad walk Jane down the aisle since her father's gone, but her eldest brother, the brother-in-law I mentioned in the first post, had already been enlisted. Stepmother was disappointed that my family wasn't as involved in the wedding as Jane's, and kept making comments about how that would never happen if we put her in charge. All of that being said, there is nothing that can excuse being that awful to a child, especially if it really is the petty jealousy that I suspect. Because I haven't spoken with my father, my sister has been keeping me updated on what he's been up to. As I found out through her, the story my dad and stepmother told the rest of the family completely erases Luke's injury and the abuse charges. It insinuates that me and Jane banned them because we got annoyed with stepmother and decided to take it out on my dad as well. Because most people already disliked stepmother, explaining what actually happened that night wasn't hard, and most of the relatives that I actually wanted at the wedding have apologized and are berating my dad as well. The people that didn't believe us, as well as those saying we overreacted, have been told they are not welcome in our home anymore. Those are mostly people from my dad's generation, so I can't say I'm surprised. But the realization that they're so biased that they're willing to protect a woman they hate after she hurt a child just to make my dad happy has assured me that I don't need any of them in my life. Stepbrother is still in denial. He refuses to believe his mother could hurt a child, even with all the evidence we have. I have to admit I understand. I love my mom too, but that doesn't mean I'd excuse his obliviousness. So he's banned too. It sucks, because we were close growing up, but I don't regret it. Besides, Jane has 3 other siblings besides Luke, the older brother-in-law, a twin brother, and a younger sister, and I'm closer to them than I ever was to him. Speaking of Jane's family, they're all furious over what happened and have been extremely supportive of us. Jane's maternal family basically adopted Luke after she got custody of him and have frequently called to make sure he's okay. We did manage to save some money with everybody we uninvited and have decided to use it to help Jane's cousin. She lives in a different country and was previously unable to come to the wedding, so we're paying for a plane ticket. Luke has gotten much better and is almost completely back to being the sunny child he's always been. The split lip was shallow. It's healing slowly but didn't require any stitches. We sat him down a few days ago and explained that my dad and stepmonster wouldn't be around anymore. He really liked my dad, but understands that he and stepmother are attached at the hip. He's clearly scared of her, but we're doing our best to make him feel safe. Me and Jane have reassured him that he is family. We love him and no one will ever change that. I'm not too worried about dad or stepmother trying to show up at the wedding, but we've alerted the venue and given them pictures just in case they try anything. Better safe than sorry. Some people brought attention to the fact that stepmother was a hypocrite for saying Luke isn't family, and I agree for obvious reasons. Her main excuse for pretty much everything she does is that she doesn't feel like my family welcomes her. Dad has been guilting me to take part in everything she plans by reminding us for that as long as I can remember. The way he continues to make excuses for her without realizing this is basically a case of the pot calling the kettle black, except Luke actually is family, is what has made me accept that while I will always love my dad, it's not healthy or safe for me and my family to be around him anymore. It hurts to know my son won't have his only remaining bio-grandfather in his life, but he has 2 amazing step-grandpas to make up for it. For now, I'm sad but satisfied with how things have turned out. I don't like complaining about my life. It's a mess, but a beautiful one. I love my fiancé, I love my kids, and I'm lucky enough to love my job. We're happy, and I'm not letting anyone ruin that. I hope this is my last update on the story, but I'll keep you posted. Again, thank you for all your love and support. Best wishes to all of you. It never ceases to amaze me how disgusting people like Opie's dad and stepmother can be, for absolutely no logical reason. So much stress and drama with no payout. A peaceful life is worth so much more in my opinion. But keeping the entitled child-harming stepmother happy is keeping the peace in their mind. So the father watched her attack a small child, and he's just okay with that? Growing up and realizing that people you love never deserved it sucks. Good for Opie and Jane for standing up for their family and keeping everyone safe. Some people are so afraid of being alone after a certain age that they'll put up with anything. Dude cheated on his current girlfriend to be with his monster. He deserves it, to be honest. Was probably never a good role model anyway. This includes my stepbrother, who fully agrees with his mother no matter how many times I try to tell him the truth. Showing the evidence is not going to sway this. There is no watered-down version that still isn't child mistreatment, and they will defend this. PSA, raise your sons to be self-reliant, so they don't marry someone this evil because you didn't raise them to learn how to heat up a freezer waffles. Now for the last story. Girlfriend 27 female asked me 26 male a hypothetical about spending money and it's raised red flags for me. So I 26 male have been with my girlfriend 27 female for a year and a half now. The other day we were playing Stardew Valley. and everything was going well. We share money in the game, and she randomly asked, "What would you do if I spent all our money right now?" Being just a game, I said, "Go right ahead." And she asked, "Well, what would you do if I did that in real life?" I asked her to expand on that, and she phrased the question like this. She said, "If we were married, what would you do if I spent all of our money down to $0 on something for the both of us without consulting you first?" I was honest and told her I would probably divorce her, to which she was shocked. She asked if I'd even talked to her about it or tried to reason with her first, and I told her if she would make a massive decision on something that would affect both of us like that, that's not someone I would want to be with. She obviously didn't like that answer, and it's kind of been left how it is. Obviously, this was a hypothetical, but it's honestly kind of raising red flags for me. We don't share any accounts right now, but we have different views on how we see finances. I want to bring it up to her again, but I could use some advice on how to go about that, or on what else I could dive into, because this honestly kind of worries me. Now for the top advice. This is stupid, and she's too old to be playing these childish games. If she's mad, let her be, and tell her you're ready to have an adult conversation when she's ready. If you two were married and she made a unilateral decision to spend all of your money on anything without consulting you, that's a major issue. I don't know if it's divorce-worthy, but I would certainly have completely separate finances after that. Being married takes maturity, and there's nothing mature about blowing all the money, no matter what it's for, without it being a joint decision. You're right to consider this a red flag. I've always hated hypotheticals for this reason. My ex would do them too, and if I didn't answer how she wanted, it would turn into an argument. Yes, to me it seems like a no-brainer that spending all of your money to $0 is something that you wouldn't want to avoid, but I feel she values money differently than I do. She likes to spend, and I like to save. Hypothetical questions regarding finances are actually a good way to gauge if you are on the same page and can help you have adult conversations about what future finances look like. Having hypothetical questions about what would your lives look like if one of you lost your job, and how you would manage, and how would it change your day-to-day spending, where would you cut back, what are things you wouldn't want to compromise on, and where would you both agree to cut the fat. She pretty much told you her values about finances is never going to change. We don't share any accounts right now, but we have different views on how we see finances. Move on. People need to stop fitting square pegs into round holes.